Welcome everyone to the PomFazzSations EPL show. I'm Pom. I'm joined as always by my esteemed colleague and fucking man who's got a new coach, West Ham Faz. Faz, how are you doing?
Good, man. Bring it back. I miss it. It's been gone for a week. I miss it.
6 days in.
I miss it. This is the longest preseason ever. I'm over it. Bring it back. Bring the Premier League back.
To be fair, our great game, we are very fortunate that every 4 years it falls in an Olympic year. So we've got the Euros, the Olympics, and then we're straight back into it. So at least we've got a lot to occupy us to get us through.
Oh, we need it. We need it because the absolute garbage that Newcastle United and Tottenham sent down here just didn't cut the mustard, unfortunately. So, like I said, I miss it already. But it's good. We can celebrate a season just gone. That was very exciting, and before you know it, the Euros will be on our doorstep, and happy days.
Well, I mean, we've got the Euros. We've got next week. We'll be doing a European preview, so we're going to really bump you up with some knowledge. We've got Scott in chat. We've got Fethi in chat. Man United, my team did. I was in hospital, which is classic Pom. Waited all year for Man United to be good. He goes to hospital, and Man United, if I knew all it took was me to go to hospital, I would have done that about 9 months ago, FYI. But we're here with all the awards. They've done their awards in the EPL. We think they're wrong, but we're going to take you through it. But first, we're going to start off with a managerial merry-go-round, and we're going to look at some Chelsea candidates. We've picked 2 each, different ones. Faz, Chelsea, you've brought him back. Jose.
It would be the most Chelsea thing to do to bring Jose back. Legend there. I think since the way he left Tottenham, he's got a bit of unfinished business in the Premier League. I'd love to see him back. You're losing Jurgen Klopp. You need someone. You need like the villain. You need him back. That everyone just, when he speaks, you listen. Do I think it'll happen? Oh, it's like a 1% chance, but I just can't shake this feeling that if they can't get a De Zerbi or someone like that, he's the man. He's got to be. He just has to be.
You know what? For banter, I was actually thinking of putting Frank Lampard here, based on your theory here of most Chelsea thing. But it's funny. The last game of the season, Anthony, I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing well. I can't move waist down, but I'm okay. I was actually, the fans started singing Jose Mourinho. So it's something that the Chelsea fans want. And I actually thought of it. I know we're taking the piss a bit, but if you were their chairman, he's got previous, he's going to get them playing and he ain't going to stand for the nonsense Chelsea have pushed out. I actually don't mind Jose coming back to Chelsea.
Oh, it's the easiest Band-Aid fix. And the easiest win that the Chelsea owners could do. You bring him in, no one's going to complain about it. And he come in with that swagger and everything and kind of fix what's really fallen apart at, dare I say it, a really great football club. But they have fallen apart and one man can fix it.
Mate, I'm with you. I don't mind it. Like when you sent me this, I didn't mind it, but now Jose's one. Let us know in the comments what you think. My first selection was Ruben Almiron, based on your theory of Jose. Now, the last time Chelsea went with young up-and-coming Portuguese manager, it spawned Jose. And I thought, looking at how Sporting Lisbon have played, his philosophy, he's going to come in relatively unknown in the Premier League. He's hungry. He's got the pedigree. And I think Chelsea are going to have money to burn because they're going to sell half the squad. I know they've spent a lot of money, but a lot of these players they're selling, I just thought, go with the young up-and-comer. It's worked for you before. I feel like this guy's not getting enough press. Everyone skipped him, and he's worked wonders at Sporting. Is he the man? Like, fresh fresh meat. They've tried everything. Why don't you go the one thing you haven't tried?
I love him. I rate him. I rate him so highly. My only reservations is recently Chelsea has kind of been the graveyard for, let's say, not experienced managers of big clubs, and managing Lisbon is one thing. Chelsea, with all the turmoils going on there, is another. It'd take a brave man to take that job. They do need to sell a lot of players. It's going to be like it is going to be a Boxing Day sale down at Chelsea. Like the teams are going to get bargains because they just have to get rid of half their list. I like it. I think he will get a job at a bigger club. Is Chelsea the one? Does he back himself? I think that's the thing, because it's a job that you're going to have to work your ass off. Does he back himself? New to the Premier League, hardest league to manage. It'll either make or break him if he takes it.
It's an interesting one because you look at Chelsea, look at the managers they've gone through. They've gone through what? Tuchel, who's got a massive resume. He's been a success nearly everywhere he's been. Graham Potter, established Premier League manager. They got rid of him. Frank Lampard twice, which is banter. But they've gone and then they got Poch. They've gone the established names, the names that on paper shouldn't fail. Do you know what I mean? I just think this Ruben, he's got a little bit about him, a bit of arrogance, a little bit of swagger. I think someone needs to come in with the confidence to tell the chairman to piss off. And I think if he backs himself, he could be the man. He could be the man, because I feel like Chelsea have no identity at the moment.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think if he does, if they're going to go a non-proven manager, this is the one. If they're going to go down that no Premier League experience, he's the one. Everyone else, it's too much of a risk. But him, big buyout clause, obviously, and all that, which won't be any issue for Chelsea. But I like it. I think it's a good shout, and I think we will see him in the Premier League one way or the other.
It's going to be interesting. He seems to be overlooked. The other guy you've gone, this guy is, he's probably the new Graham Potter. I think he's linked to every Premier League job in the last week. You've gone Kieran McKenna, the Ipswich Salvation, 2 promotions in 2 years. On a budget, he's about to go to Moneybags Chelsea. Talk us through it, Faz.
It would be suicide for him to do it. But I just can't help the fact that, we talk about Chelsea needing a win, a PR win. This is the PR win if they go for him. But if he was to call me up right now, not that he would, but if he were, I'd say, mate, avoid at all costs. Avoid at all costs, because they will ruin your career. Quick, smart. It'd be appealing to him, obviously. Personally, I'd love to see him stick with Ipswich. You got them up. Be the man to keep them up. I don't like you saying this because I really like him, but to me, is it a cowardice move to leave Ipswich before you've even tried? Maybe. But this would be very appealing to him. But avoid at all costs if I was him.
This has got a bit of Graham Potter about it, hasn't it? Because at the 100%. Moment, his stocks are high. You'd imagine. I agree with you. If he keeps Ipswich, let's say Ipswich finish 16th, 17th, keeps them up, I pretty much would guarantee he could walk into any job in the Premier League. If he does that, 2 promotions, keeps them up, I reckon every club would have him.
Kompany got the Bayern Munich job and he got barely relegated. So what would he have got if he kept them up?
But mate, I agree with you. I just think McKenna, this could be one of them moves that if he moves, we're talking Jose Mourinho career. If he gets success with Chelsea, we're talking, if he gets them into the top 4, any job he's ever wanted, he'll get. Real Madrid, Barcelona. But if it goes wrong, it could be that Graham Potter, couldn't it? Suddenly, you're looking at going back to the Championship. You're getting a struggling club. I agree with you. Does he bite? Because we're going to talk about Man United in a minute. There is clubs looking for him that potentially could make his dynasty, but is it too soon? Like, I'm with you. If I was him, stay with Ipswich at least till the January window.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
100%.
And like, just
100%.
get the taste of the Premier League.
Yeah. You've got to. I think you look at the reputation you can build by simply just performing. By just staying in the Premier League. The reputation you can build is enormous, and if he were to start strong, bring in a few players, very similar to Luton Town, can they do a bit better than them? I think his reputation will get bigger than if you were to go to Chelsea. 100%.
Mate, I'm with you. Ben asks, Man United, do they go for Eze and Elise? I would love Eze and Elise. To be honest, they're brilliant players.
Yeah, what a duo. They work so well together. I think they're one of those ones where you don't really want one without the other. Like, you kind of need
Tevez and Mascherano.
Yeah. You just absolutely. But no, they're good gets, and if they were to leave Palace, there'd be a host of clubs lined up for them too, for sure.
Stay tuned, Bluebagger. We're coming up to Man United in a minute, and you'll like what I've got to say. Well, the last player I looked at is De Zerbi. Now, De Zerbi, to me, is literally what Chelsea will do, because Chelsea will buy in to the stereotype that this guy is a great football coach and he's everything you've ever seen, the scintillating football. This is the most Chelsea, to me, if I had to put money on it, Chelsea get this guy because they buy the hype and they haven't thought about it. And I'll say this about De Zerbi. I rate him. My issue with De Zerbi is I look at that Brighton squad. It is literally the same players Potter had, and he's just got them playing well. I don't think he's recruited well. I don't think he's bought well. And I think when I look at Chelsea and I look at my team, Man United, you've got to buy players in to fix the squad. He's unproven. Like, to me, as a buyer of players, he's as unknown as McKenna. I think it's a risk, a huge risk.
De Zerbi, I disagree. I think his management is about as good as his facial hair, which is fucking putrid. I don't see it. I don't see it with him. He looks like I don't know. He thinks he knows what he's doing. I thought Brighton, if we had one of the awards for the biggest disappointment of the season, I think Brighton has to be up there. I mean, to not go deep in the conference with that team, pathetic. Or the Europa, sorry, pathetic. To just bundle out and they shipped goals. They got belted. Hey, Chelsea take him, then it's going to be Graham Potter again, I reckon. I reckon they'll sack him because he just won't get... His style of football is no good. It's no good. He's trying to copy every other sexy foreign manager that come into the league and think they can do this and think they can do that. And guess what? You get found out because you're shit. Good luck to him. Send him back. Send him wherever he came from. And I don't ever want to see him again.
Mate, he did well for company. I mean, he's guaranteed a Bundesliga.
Mate, that is one of the... Off topic, Vincent Kompany is one of the most ridiculous things of all time. But anyway, we digress. De Zerbi.
No, I mean, you see with De Zerbi, I hate to sound like I've bought into the hype, but I look at him and I think if he's got great players, I understand how that style works. I think Brighton, their injury list was woeful back half, and I think it really cost them. But when I watch how he plays, I think you put him with quality players, which Chelsea have. I think it works. My question mark is, I think their back-end form is from the players he bought in. The players Potter had that he took over are brilliant. And if I was a Chelsea fan, which I'm not, my reservation is he hasn't really proven he can sign good players yet. And Chelsea are going to have to do that to get the next level.
I was just going to say, if you're no good at signing players, going to Chelsea is not the place you want to go because...
Well, I mean, to be fair, the chairman signs half. I mean, he's bound to get it right eventually, isn't he?
Yeah. And I think then if he does end up there, then the elephant in the room, as you say, would be Casiado. You know, what does that look like? Obviously wanting to leave Brighton, and then, I think that's an interesting one.
It's going to be interesting, but I mean, there they are, and we come on to my Man United. So you'll like this, Bluebagger. As a massive Man United fan, sacking a coach after the FA Cup seems to be the new norm at Man United. We've done it a few times in the past couple of years, but I've been looking at the players, coaches. We've been linked with half the universe. And I think United, if they are going to go with a new coach, which it looks like they are going to do, I think Ange Postecoglou, for me, is the man. And I'm looking at the way he's talking about Tottenham. He said that thing that it's cooked outside and inside, the mentality. Now's the time to get him in, because I think you can offer him. The Man United fans are loyal. They support. They expect wins. They expect titles. And it's probably part of the reason that they're in a bad situation at the moment, because the fans' expectation between reality are two different things. And I think Ange would thrive on that, because Ange would know these players want wins, which helps him, because that's what he's about as well. So I think for me, his season in the Premier League this year, nothing short of remarkable. I don't think anyone would have had him top 5. And I think the style of football he plays is sexy. It's what United want. It's devil may care. It's 3 points or bust. I think United would thrive under Ange, and he's my number 1 pick. If we sack him, I think Ange is the man.
Old Trafford would be rocking with Ange Postecoglou there. And I think the language that's come out, I think we haven't heard the end of this. Once he gets back into England and all the Euros, I do think he'll leave Tottenham. Tottenham don't deserve him. And to be honest, going from Tottenham to Manchester United, well, that's just like going from South Melbourne to Celtic. Like you talk about different... Manchester United and Tottenham are on different stratospheres as far as size of club. So it would be appealing to him. I would love to see it, because the way I feel like the Tottenham fans or the owners or whatever, they don't deserve what he's trying to do. And I think Manchester United would appreciate him. Would he do it? He's a loyal man. He is a loyal man. But the offer would be tempting.
You see, I said it when I heard him come out and cried about the Spurs fans. I was like, if I was Jim Ratcliffe, I'd be calling him after that press conference.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like getting in his ear, saying, look, we're getting rid of Eric. We can offer you the security. We can offer you the backing. We want to win. Like, come now. Like, I reckon once he gets back to England, there's going to be conversations, because I think the Tottenham board expected the fans to rise against Ange. And it's actually backfired, because the fans are now on Ange's side, saying the old school Tottenham fans are what's keeping us behind. And he's actually stirred them up a little bit, saying this old mentality is pathetic. We want to win. So interesting, because I think the board have got to back him now.
They've got to. And how many more managers do Tottenham need to piss around before they start looking at themselves?
It's going to be funny. Thank you, Angelo. $2.99. Eric Ten Hag in. Give him one more year. United, and Lucinda's joined United. Welcome to. You won't be bandwagoning, because to be honest, we've been garbage for a while. So probably the time to jump on.
We'll say they'll break your heart, kid. They'll break your heart.
If you're a Carlton fan, it's pretty much the same thing. To be honest. Faz, you've brought Kieran back to United.
This was one of the more lazier options that I went for, because anyone who started watching should just kind of rewind a little bit and see exactly what I said in regards to him going to Chelsea. It's the real popular move. Manchester United fans would love it. The young manager, the project style manager that seems to be all the rage now. more appealing, in my opinion, than the Chelsea job. So for him, I think he would listen to this a little bit more. And I don't know. I don't think it'll happen. But I think if they were going to look at something, if the rumors are true that they're getting rid of Ten Hag, this guy's going to be on their list. He's going to be on their short list of who they're going to interview, who they're going to talk to. And why not? I mean, let's be brutal here. United have been a bit of a piss take. You know, they've been going through a lot. We understand they're a great club with great history. Erik Ten Hag might not have worked. I mean, great FA Cup win, but do the owners think that it worked? I don't know. Why not a project manager? Why not?
For me, there's two worrying signs about this, because I agree with Angela. For me, he's still a championship coach, right? Until he's proven otherwise, could be great. For Kieran to come in, I'd need Man United the day before the appointment to say 2024-2025 season isn't about top four, isn't about winning. It's about long-term success of stabilizing this team and becoming a team that in 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 30 can compete with Manchester City and Arsenal week on week and fight for titles. And if they do that and sell a host of players, I'm 100% behind it, right? My issue is United won't do that. They'll bring Kieran McKenna in. He'll do his little thing for 6-7 games. We'll lose 3 on the bounce. The pressure will come and he'll deviate from the plan. And before you know it, we're stuck in this purgatory of, are we a good team? Are we a shit team? And it'll be a matter of time before one of the pundits goes, Paul Scholes used to win them titles. Why are they shit? And you're like, no, I don't mind it. But for me, it worries me because 2.2 million in the last 24 hours, according to Sky Bet, has been put on this guy. And his odds have gone from 30 to 5, which usually indicates it's probably happening.
Well, look, I did tell people that I wouldn't tell anyone if I won the big Tats Lotto, but there would be signs. And maybe I did put a cheeky $2 million bet on it.
It did worry me this morning when I checked, and he is shot down. I'm like,
yeah, look,
there is some noise.
I'll back what I said. I'll back up what I said with the Chelsea job there. If I'm Kieran McKenna, I'm staying at Ipswich. Create a legacy with them first, and then you can move from there. I think there's something so powerful about doing it together, and you do kind of lose that. You lose that aura, you know. If he went to Man United or Chelsea, he can't just walk in and say, "Hey, you know, let's do it together. Let's do it together." It's like, hang on a minute, you just ditched your boys the minute they got promoted. Where he can have a whole season of just using that as his mantra. You know, maybe it's from his camp. Maybe his agents are being smart, throwing his name out there, so then he can actually reject all the offers and say, "Hey, Ipswich, I'm all you. I'm all Ipswich. Let's do it together. Look at these offers I rejected to stay with you." I think that's powerful.
I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, the rumors are the United players loved him, and I mean, he might be able to get something out of them. But I mean, I'm with you, Faz. For me, if I was him, stay at Ipswich. Like, even if it's till the January and you get them stabilized.
Absolutely.
Like, it's such a better position. Like, because it could kill you, but be interesting because you just never know. With this football club and with the Premier League, you just never know. And my second one, might be a controversial one, right? But I went with Erik Ten Hag, right? Like, I mean, the FA Cup win, I think, is nothing short of remarkable. And you look at the 11 he put out, it was his best 11, right? He's finally got his players back. Probably the only changes to that 11, Luke Shaw at left back and probably Hodgland playing striker because he was nursing an injury. But I don't see anyone out there now who I'm looking at going guaranteed success. Guaranteed success. Yeah. And I agreed with him. I thought his post game, when he said to me, I signed up for a project. This is the project. He's got us an FA Cup. He's got us a Carabao Cup. He's managed to somehow get us into Europe. Like, what's out there? Like, there is nothing out there that's guaranteed. Give him another year. Back him in the window. Let's see what they look like without injuries, because the performance against City says to me they can play a good style of football and win. Let's give him a full year with the backing and test the waters next year. If it is Kieran McKenna, he's probably better for a year in the Premier League next year.
And I think that's people talk about easy options. And for me, the easy option for Manchester United is to sack him. That's the easy option. Everyone wants him sacked, the negative, blah, blah. The easiest win is, look, we've done this. But to me, the hard decision is sometimes the right decision. I know it's completely different, but we talk about, Carlton keeping a hold of Michael Voss last year. The easiest thing to do was to sack him. Easiest. Done. See you later. We go again. Sometimes the hard decision is stick by your man. And I think if United, how powerful for them, if they came out tonight or tomorrow and said, we are backing him in, he's our man, we've got our FA Cup, which is a prestigious trophy. I don't care what anyone says, it's a prestigious trophy. We've got our FA Cup. You go into pre-season with that momentum, they could be pushing top two. The only caveat I have on Erik ten Hag is maybe leash him a little bit when it comes to transfers, because I think, he's made a few dodgy calls. But another season in the Premier League, it does take a while to work out what the Premier League's about. And in Europe next year, FA Cup, I mean, I'd be keeping him personally. I think that's the best move.
I think Angelo makes a good point. So Anne's the Laughing Magpie, they finished second in the SPFL, and they were runners-up in the Scottish Cup to Celtic. Celtic did it again, bastards. I agree with Angelo as well. I've been listening to Ten Hag, and I agree with Bluebagger. I do think this has been done before. The way Ten Hag is speaking is a sacked manager. And that also makes me think, is the Man City job like the players playing for a potential new coach? Or is it Ten Hag? But I agree with Angelo. If a new coach comes in, right, he's one to assess the players. And I think it puts players off signing for United. I actually think United would sign better quality of players if they say, this is Ten Hag's third year, we're backing him in. And I think we've got a new back room. We've got new director of football. So the transfers are going to be a little bit different and a little bit more methodical. Why are we getting rid of him? I can't see anyone out there, and the coaches will link with Poch. How many times does that guy have to fail until he's banned from the Premier League? Tuchel. He didn't. How do you not win a fucking title with Bayern? What's he going to do with fucking United?
He's a failure, that man. Look, I think you look at it this way, and the real winner out of this whole situation is Erik ten Hag. He can't lose. Keeps his job at United, gets a sack. Mate, I've won an FA Cup. He could walk into any job. He'll be fine. The winner here is Erik ten Hag. And this is what surprised me a little bit about the Bayern Munich decision with Vincent Kompany. If I'm Bayern Munich, I'm probably holding off a little bit. Just wait a fraction of time, because I'd be taking Erik ten Hag over to Vincent Kompany. Surprised, mate.
Peter, me and Faz are not shocked by Kompany going there, because we called it pre-season. He's just waiting for a good job. But I'm with you. For me, when I look at Ten Hag and I'm listening to Bluebagger, we've been average in the EPL. I will say this. I just don't think there is a coach out there at the moment that screams to me, I'll do better. And we've had guaranteed successes that have failed. And let's be honest, Ten Hag currently is the most successful coach there. He's won 2 trophies in 3 years, which is mind-boggling. So, yes, we've gone backwards in the Premier League, but success breeds success. Like, I don't see anyone, apart from Ange Postecoglou at the moment, to me, who screams he's going to be better suited to the Premier League. Like, it's a chance. Kieran McKenna is a chance. Southgate we've been linked with. Massive fucking chance. Like, let's be honest. Scream guarantee.
No, just play the cards as they lay. I'll be blunt. The Premier League, you're playing for second. Everyone's playing for second at the moment, right? And there was a great little thing that was posted saying who had the better season, Manchester United or Arsenal. Manchester United won the FA Cup. Arsenal won second.
They're also claiming the Charity Shield. Remember that.
All right, mate. All right. Cool. Yeah. All right. I run a $2 scratchy at the
same thing.
News agents.
They are counting it.
So this is what I mean. Like, people saying, "Oh, they're falling away in the Premier League." As far as I'm concerned, and then maybe this is easy for me to say because I'm West Ham and blah 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 blah. But if I'm a club, I'm saying, "Fucking hell, man! Finish top 4 to get Champions League. Don't even worry. You're not going to compete with City. Win the other cups. Win everything else. Win the Carabao. Win the FA Cup. Win every other cup you can get. Win in Europe." Because at the moment, you're just playing for second until whatever happens with City. If I'm a Manchester United fan, you won the FA Cup. And as I said, wow, what are Arsenal celebrating? We won second. No one's going to remember that. No one's going to give a shit in 2050. Oh, 2050. Oh, who won the FA Cup, Manchester United, Arsenal? It's the way it is. It's the way it is. It's a fact, mate. If you're not, dead set. If you're not going to want to win trophies, if you're watching your team not wanting trophies, then why are you even watching? I just don't get it. These disrespect for these trophies over. Oh, we finished second. It's moronic. It's just stupid. You need trophies. Trophies are what people remember. Trophies are legacy. There is no legacy for finishing second. You know what you get for finishing second? You become a meme. And they're hilarious. But it's not a trophy.
Mate, I agree. And I mean, you've brought in Tuchel. I mean, to be honest, this is the most United thing ever. As a Man United fan, if you told me we sack Ten Hag tomorrow and Tuchel is in, I would not be surprised, to be honest. But talk me through it, Faz.
Again, it's the same thing in regards to what I was saying with Jose and Chelsea. This is such a Manchester United thing to do at the moment. It's a cowardice move. It's we're going to sack Ten Hag. What are we going to do? Bring in the Band-Aid fix. I put it there not because I think it's a good move. I put it there because this is what I think will happen. It's written in the stars. It's a cheap move because he's been sacked. He can come in. He's Premier League proven. Blah 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 blah. Same thing. Unfinished business in the Premier League. He'll want to come back over and succeed there because it's the best league in the world. To me, it's written in the stars. This one.
It's you know what? As a Man United fan. Like, honestly, I would not... Like, it's no surprise to me that the 3 names United are heavily linked with at the moment, outside of McKenna, are De Zerbi, Tuchel, and Pochettino. Like, 3 people that sound good. But if you actually get away the surname, that they're no better than what you've got and the people that you're also linked with. Like for me, McKenna is the same amount of risk as Tuchel, Pochettino, with the caveat that at least he might get better and surprise you.
Well, to me, I just don't trust someone whose name is pronounced differently depending on what country he's in. And I just don't trust that. Is it Tuchel? Is it Tuchel? Mate, make your mind up because I just don't like that, right? What is it? Is it Tuchel or Tuchel? Because I don't trust a man who, when he's in managing Bayern, it's Thomas Tuchel. When he's managing Chelsea, it's Tuchel, mate.
Yeah. I wish you were on the board at United. That's the first question. Does your name change depending on what country you are? Next.
dead. I honestly, it drives me insane.
You know what? This is my favorite comment because me and my mates back home, we've talked about this a lot because some of them are getting really excited and like, oh, Ratcliffe's here. He's got to save us. And I'm like I'm a bit like Angelo. What has he done apart from brought in Wilcox and Ashworth? Like he hasn't done anything. And what worries me is the Glazers have sacked coaches before they've won trophies. Like, this is the same shit. We're in disarray. Like, at the moment, the fact we don't know if Ten Hag is there or sacked, and it's all rumours, is the problems we've had with the Glazers for a decade. All the noise, no action.
It's the same thing. It's rinse and repeat. Do you know what I mean? We talk about it. Weak clubs just rinse and repeat. And Manchester United, one of the greatest, if not the greatest club in the history of football. But at the moment, they're a weak club because of just their owners. And it just recycles. It just keeps going. We've lived it, mate. I've lived it for 30 years being a Carlton supporter. You know what it's like when you support a weak club who just can't make the right decision constantly. And that's what they're doing. They're going to, they're hoping to fall ass backwards into the right manager. And whoever they pick, if they're successful, it's not a look at the decision we made. It's fuck, lucky that paid off, because that's literally their approach at the moment.
Mate, I'm with you. I'm with you. And until I see something different, I mean, I just wish we'd come out before the FA Cup and said what was going to happen. And I am concerned that now we've won the FA Cup, we don't know. I would have thought that would have been the time to make the statement. At the moment, it feels very Glazers are cooked. Faz, chat, if you had to put a bet, who do you think is going to be the Chelsea manager and who do you think the Man United manager is going to be realistically?
De Zerbi at Chelsea and Tuchel at United, I think.
I think De Zerbi at Chelsea, 100%.
Yeah,
it's the most Chelsea thing ever. Like, it's him or Frank Lampard. Let's be honest. I've got a feeling McKenna is the United manager. I've got a feeling that that's what it is. I've got a feeling that, and that's what worries me as well, because it's like a sugar hit. The apprentice coming back to finish the job he started. I've got a sad feeling that it's going to drag out as well. I think the Ten Hag sacking is going to fucking drag out as well.
Sugar hits, wrong decisions. Mate, remember we always talk about, which Premier League clubs or which AFL clubs, the more we talk about it, Manchester United or Carlton. They are shit decision-making. Older people telling everyone how good we used to be. It's a shambles at the moment, and hopefully they come out of it the other end. But McKenna would be a mistake. It'd be a massive mistake.
Mate, I'd take anyone to shore up our team, Ben. Anyone. Just throw names at me. But we're doing Player of the Season, and
yes,
Player of the Season in real life was Foden. But I think a man who is grossly underrated, and I think he should have been Player of the Year last year, Rodri. I think Rodri holds City together. I think he's easily been the best CDM in world football. I think you look at the form earlier, everyone was saying, oh, there's no KDB. Just look at Man City when Rodri's suspended or out injured. They look shithouse. I think for me, Rodri is the most important player at Man City. And if I could buy anyone at Man City, it would be Rodri every day, because United have been trying to find a CDM for 20 years since Keane went to Celtic. So I can tell you how important they are. Rodri, for me, head and shoulders above his peers.
Mate, I would like to speak on behalf of the unsexy, because that's what he is. He just gets his job done. And I think that's why he doesn't get the recognition, because when you turn on the highlights, go on YouTube and highlights, you wouldn't see him. But if you actually sit down and watch an entire game, he's their best player. And he's been an incredible footballer for a long period of time. But because he's not sexy, he's just a CDM. The centre-backs get no recognition. The CDMs get no recognition because we're not sexy, right? But he is by far their most important player. I agree. Look, by far it's a bit of a stretch because I think KDB is pretty important. But I think that's a wicked shout of him being player of the season because it's something I hold dear to my heart. Just blokes who just do their role. Just do your job and do it to such a high standard. He's a phenomenal player, and that's a very good shout.
Ben's backed his boy Phil Foden. I think Phil Foden's been brilliant, but I'll say this: I don't think you can win titles without winning the ball back. And I think Rodri, I'm happy Foden's in form. He better go to the Euros. I am stoked Foden's played so well, but I just think for me, you take Rodri out of that team. They're so rare in world football as well. You can find a Cam, you can find a striker, but can you find a good CDM?
Not these days because everyone wants to pay the big money for the match winners. Who did I go for player of the season? Just out of curiosity, or just
you went.
Oh yeah, Phil Foden, mate. You know what it's like I always say, the sexy footballers are it, right? Don't waste your time with these centre backs or CDMs who just do their job. No, we are here to watch the sexy footballers, the match winners, the guys who get paid the big bucks to put it top corner. That's what I'm all about. I love Phil Foden,
mate. You know, Peter makes a good point as well. You just said earlier, what's the obsession with young managers? And then Zabi, then Zabi was begged to stay and sacked. Tell you what, but Barcelona are trying to do an impression of Man United and succeeding at the moment. But talking about Phil Foden, you know what? I'll be honest, Faz. I know we've just built up sexy footballers and ugly footballers. I'll admit, I have Foden in my dynasty team, and I picked him on the back of he had to have a good year because I feel like we've heard about him. And amazing. I actually think Man City are in a position at the moment now to sell KDB because of Phil Foden. You can cash in on him while he's at high value, and I don't think you'll miss him. I don't mind this shout because I do think Phil Foden. If I expected Rodri's season, did I expect Phil Foden?
Yeah, and I think that
year? No.
That's kind of where I've come from. If I think Cole Palmer was pretty close for me because. It's hard because you should never judge a player based on themselves. You just judge what they produce, yeah? But Rodri's Rodri. And Phil Foden, from where he came from to what he's done now, I think he's phenomenal. And he's the most important player or one of the most important players now going over to the Euros with England. He has gone from wonder kid, shows a bit, to literally a super mega star of world football. And I think, to me, that I just couldn't get past that step. I just couldn't get past that massive leap that he took as a player.
No, mate, good call. I mean, to be honest with you, if you told me KDB would get injured and Phil Foden was playing that role, I would have been like, and I mean, honestly, he's had 3 hat tricks. He looks like baby KDB. Ben loves him. He's a special talent, and I think finally we're not talking about could be good. He is good.
That goal he scored in the final game to pretty much win it, 90 seconds in, I didn't even have a chance to scratch myself, and City were 1-0 up, and it was just an absolute rocket. So he's got everything in his locker. He's fast. He can hit a ball, can pass a ball. He's got everything, and I think. It's going to be a pleasure. It's going to be a pleasure to watch him for many, 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 many years in the Premier League.
Mate, I love it. I love the call. And we come to young player of the year. And I went with, not biased as well.
No, it's a good shout.
Same reason you went with Foden. Like Kobe Manu this time last year, you were probably, as a United fan, even though he was kicking ass in the reserve football, we'd heard all about him. I think you would have been an absolute nutter if you'd said he would be in the England team going to be playing next to Bellingham in the Euros. He'd scored the winner in the FA Cup. I think everyone would have said, all right, mate, stop drinking.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no.
I think he has been absolutely phenomenal all year. And for me, the best player under the age of 21 in the league.
And I think there's plenty of people who didn't even know he existed until he just burst on the scene. And I think to do it at a club like Manchester United, and we can say what we've said, that they're not who they once were and all that, but to have that shirt on, that Manchester United logo, and do what he's done, man, that takes balls, man. And this kid has got it. And everyone always refers back to the golden generation of Lampard and Gerrard and Beckham and all that, and that England team. Well, I think we're about to hit another golden generation. You look at that England squad, we're hitting another golden generation. And this kid, he is going to be front and center, a part of the whole thing. He is a great kid.
Mate, I'm very happy to have him, and I agree with you. I think people aren't talking about it. We talk about the golden generation at England. I think you look at the England team, it in my opinion, on paper, if we're not playing it on foot, because if you play it on grass, I think you've got to say this generation's team's better. I think even on paper, this is the best England side we've ever produced.
That's some hasty analysis. And I can't wait for our Euro previews at some point, because just quietly, no bias, but I think England's going to get a bit of a rap.
Mate, I'm looking forward to it. And you went Cole Palmer. I mean, what a player Cole Palmer has been. Let's be honest. What a signing.
Look, I broke my own rule here. I have a rule when it comes to young player that has to be 21 or younger. He was 21 up until about 3 weeks ago. So I've kind of just allowed that to happen. He was 21 for majority of the season, so I guess it's still allowed. Peter, stay tuned, because I have given Villa lots of love. Cole Palmer. Look, the reason I've said he's young player of the year, obviously the goals, the assists, everything he's done is one thing. I think that's the obvious standout. But see what I just said about Mano in a different way. To leave Manchester City because you're not getting an opportunity, right? Like, think about that for a moment. To leave the biggest and best club in the land right now because you're not getting opportunities, and then go to Chelsea, a struggling Chelsea, and do what he's done, that takes even bigger balls, because you have just said to the world, I am good enough for this Manchester City team. I think I deserve to be getting starts, so I'm going to fuck off and show the world that I can do it. And I think that is enormous. And this kid, like, I love that. He has got ice in his veins, because he stood up and said to the world, he said to Pep, he said to everyone, I am good enough for you. And I left and I've done it. And I think that in itself just shows what absolute quality this kid is. And once again, he'll be front and center in this England squad and England team in the future.
Mate, I'm with you. And to keep the love, I had him as signing of the season.
Oh,
right.
It had to be.
I think when you look at it, you would have been shocked. And like Ben talks about here, like, he probably isn't in the England starting 11. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how deep it is. But like, based on form, he's probably been the only thing, if you're a Chelsea fan, that's made you happy this year. Isn't he? Like, he's probably the only success Chelsea have had. Is Cole Palmer is taking the piss.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a great shout for signing of the season. I don't think Chelsea paid whatever they paid for him. He's worth at least triple now. So, if a team were to try and sign Cole Palmer, I mean, what Declan Rice went for 105, Cole Palmer's going for 150, 160 comfortably.
Mate.
So what a signing.
Spot on. I mean, it was 40 million, which in today's money is, I mean, you're lucky to buy an under 18 Brazilian for that.
Absolutely. So you think about, when I talk about signings of the season, we'll get to mine shortly. Talk about signings, I always look at what the price was. because it's easy to say someone like, if you paid squillions of dollars to signing this is, of course, but the price, right? And so we've come to my signing of the season, pure bias, obviously, Mo Kudus for West Ham. And I think what makes him a signing of the season, 35 million, coming into the Premier League, never played in the Premier League before, and he just hit the ground running, goals, assists, broke the records for dribbles. 35 million, West Ham will sell him, be it now or be it next summer. They're going to triple their money, or at least double their money. So for me, that an investment side from West Ham is an incredible signing. He's a type of player that puts bums on seats, eyeballs on TV. You turn it on. You turn it on, and he has got Liverpool written all over him. He's got Man City. He has got a big club written all over him, and he is that type of player. See Phil Foden, see Cole Palmer, see De Bruyne. He is the type of player that you get up at 2:00 in the morning to watch, and that's why he's my signing of the season.
Mo Kudus is the player that bites me as a United fan, because I'm like, Ten Hag had this obsession of buying Ajax players. Yeah. And I'm like, we went Anthony over this guy.
Yeah. He's special. And anyone who obviously don't spend your time watching West Ham, and I don't blame you, to be honest. I mean, I spend my time watching West Ham, and I could think of a million other things I'd rather do sometimes. But just get on and just get on YouTube or whatever. And after this, don't leave. Get on and just look up Mo Kudus highlights this season and some of his goals. I mean, 3 of his goals will feature in nominees for goal of the year. Like, he's just an incredible
talent.
The
Man City goal was audacious.
Yeah, tasty is what I like to call it.
Mate, well, we come on to team of the season, right? So the team that was the most, we'll go with the most improved, or however you want to do it. I've gone Spurs, and I'll tell you for why. Bit of a backstory with Spurs. They lose their star striker and star captain a couple of weeks before the season. New coach. He's only ever really coached in Scotland, which is a B grade tier compared to the Premier League. Mm-hmm. Unproven, disarray. To lead them to 5th, I think he's nothing short of remarkable. And honestly, I think you're a liar if you had Spurs top 10 with the start of their season, with everyone that got sold. There's no way you had him in the top 10. I think Ange has done a miracle with these idiots.
I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I might be in trouble. All right. I'll take my bias hat off. What a season by Tottenham. I can't say it, Pom. I hate him. What a great season by Tottenham. They phenomenal. Everything you've said. Losing Harry Kane so late in the transfer window and not being able to replace him, disaster. I was laughing, mate. I think I was in Castlemaine at the time, and I'm like, this is great. But what a season. Can you imagine their injuries to their back four have been horrendous. The fact that they finished where they did is incredible. I genuinely believe they keep Postecoglou, they will win a trophy next season, right? They will win a trophy next season. Write that down. Not sure what it'll be. Definitely won't be the Premier League, or anything. It might be one of the Euros, but they will win a trophy next season because that's what Postecoglou does. He wins trophies. And let's be serious, Tottenham haven't had one for a very long time. But to achieve what they have achieved this season, coming up against your Newcastles who've got squillions of dollars, you know, your Brightons who are meant to be competing, all these teams that they've just absolutely flown past, I think that's a great shout. It's a great shout. This was my second choice from my first choice, which we'll see who my team of the season. But this was my second choice. I just couldn't bring myself to say it. But yes, absolutely.
I had to give North London some love first.
Absolutely. Now, Peter, I hope you stayed. Did he stay?
Hey, yeah, Peter, the Villa.
There he is. Yeah. All right. So Aston Villa, absolutely my team of the season. Has to be my team of the season. Love the colours. Great colours. But to finish in a Champions League position, let's break that down. They've finished in a Champions League position in an era of football where money buys everything, a club who notoriously are very smart with their money, they've finished in a Champions League position. Now, I know what I said earlier in regards to Arsenal, you got to define success by trophies, right? I get that. But Arsenal are a different hemisphere, a stratosphere compared to Aston Villa in regards to what they've spent and what they need to achieve. To finish in the Champions League spot, this is as big as any trophy you could ever win. The only minor disappointment I have for Aston Villa is they should have won the conference. They should have won that trophy. Their performance to get bundled out of that was nothing short of a disgrace. An England team should always win those lower tier ones. That's my only beef with Villa. And it's that always, would you have taken the conference trophy and finished 5th or 6th? I'm going to say yes in my argument of winning trophies is everything. But man, to finish in a Champions League position, this is what dreams are made of. I as a West Ham supporter, can only ever dream of playing Champions League football. And they're going to do it. They're going to experience Champions League football. It's the same message I'll give them to what I gave Luton fans back into last season. You're not going to go far in the Champions League, which is fine. But bloody enjoy every second of it. Enjoy that music. Enjoy that sexy soccer ball that's got the stars on it. Because this is so, so special for a football club like Aston Villa. And I couldn't be happier. And for me, there was no other close choice to team of the season than Aston Villa.
Mate, I think to be fair, they finished 7th last year, right? And to finish 4th this year, and you think about it, like I've just checked now, like you look at who they brought in, like Moussa Diaby, like 50 million, he's been sensational. And then the other big deal was Pau Torres, who's been brilliant for them as well. So 80 million to jump 3 spots while other teams are paying that for one player and finishing outside the top 4. Like Emery has done what we're talking about with McKenna and Potter. He maybe jumped to maybe Arsenal too early. It was a poison chalice after Wenger, but
absolutely.
He's rebuilt his reputation, and you know what? I reckon Unai is the manager of the year if we're doing an award, and he'd definitely be someone if I was at United. Like, we've talked about them. Like, if you're Chelsea or United, surely you're saying we can offer him more than Villa ever can. And look what he's done.
I think this is where it's going to be a little bit dangerous for Villa. And I don't really want to talk about this stuff because you've got to celebrate what's occurred, but they've got to learn from Newcastle's mistakes. They've got to learn from, they can't go into next season and just bundle down and miss Europe and all that stuff. Like, playing Champions League is great, but you've got to build on that. There's no point getting knocked out of Champions League and then finishing mid-table. If they're going to get knocked out of Champions League, they have to finish in that 3rd spot. So they go down to, it's changed now. It's the table next season, isn't it? Well, so they've got to finish in that spot where if they do get knocked out, they go down to Europa. That has to be the minimum. Talk about that later on in this, when we do our next season previews later on in a couple of months. Now, just celebrate what this club has achieved. This is any Aston Villa fan, maybe not the older ones who have experienced their successes in the past, but definitely younger Aston Villa fans. This is like was me last season when West Ham won their trophy. This is an incredible season. Peter's hit the nail on the head. How no European experience. Emery, he's got European experience coming out his ears. So he's going to know what to do. He's not going to screw this up. Proud of Villa. Well done.
Would you be shocked? This is a 3-time Europa champion, right? Do you know what I mean? Europa League champion. And then, 4, because you won it with Villarreal. Could have been 5 because he took Arsenal from memory as well there. But I wouldn't count them out of the Champions League, because you look at Sevilla, that was a small squad, and the Liga is equally as tasking as the Premier League. I wouldn't be surprised for Villa to surprise teams in Europe.
Yeah, look, they're not going to go down without a fight. but they're certainly going to be up against it, and that's fine. It just depends on what the fixtures look like, who they get. You know, I don't want to bury Newcastle too hard. Their group that they got was fucking deplorable. That they got stuck in.
Started well as well with the winning.
They did. So anyway, it's hats off to Villa. I loved it. I enjoyed their season. They were another team where, like I said, when you're up in the morning and you're flicking through games, like bang, the Villa game's what I want to watch because they were exciting to watch.
You know what is exciting? I'd love your take on this, and Peter's definitely huge noise that he's coming back. Jack Grealish is coming back to Villa.
Oh.
That is their big acquisition. And wouldn't that be great for a hometown hero to come back?
Enormous. Their first, come back their first year in Champions League for donkeys. That's a story. I hope that happens. I love romance. A lot of people think romance in sport is dead. I still think there's a little tiny space for it. Yeah, for sure.
Mate, I'd love Jack Grealish. I mean, he needs to play. I'm glad he's in the England squad, but I think he needs to play. And we're going with overpaid signings that we think failed. And I'm so proud of you for this, Faz.
See what I said in regards to signing of the seasons. It's all about price tags and it's all about what they achieved. On paper, Declan Rice had a great season. Did he have a £105 million season? Absolutely not. Did he have anything to show for it at the end of the season? Absolutely not. This is the most overpaid, overhyped signing of the season for one reason and one reason only. Go look up the reason he left West Ham for Arsenal. I come to win trophies. Where are they, Deck? Where are they, bro? Hey, who would have thought your trophy winning era ended when you left West Ham? What a ridiculous, overpaid signing. Did I get through that all right? Did I say?
Mate, fuck it. I mean, let's look at this. Let's look at this, right? Like, I know people are going to be like, oh, no, Declan Rice was brilliant. I agree with you. I think he was brilliant, right? But what are they? They're what, 2 points better off than last year?
Yep. 1 point.
2 points. 105
million. 1 or 2, whatever it was.
Yeah, 1 or 2 points. Like, are they a better side with Declan Rice? Probably. But I think this signing was meant to close the gap. And I would say what? A net 2 points. So is that based on that, you're going to have to spend 300 million to beat City.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's a big price tag. They had to pay the price tag to get him. Rodri, are you paying 105 million for a CDM? The answer is no, you're not. And they did.
Fucking like that. Yeah, you know what? It's controversial, but I don't think you can argue with the call. It's won a it's Charity Shield, isn't it? I mean, it's 105 million for a Charity Shield, and
I got a dinner plate over there. Do you want to hold that up?
105 million for a Charity Shield, and the fact that for 5 minutes when Kudos scored the final day, you thought you might win the Premier League.
It's the hope that kills you. And
I've got to say, me and Faz talked about this, and I did say, because I have grown a little bit of a distaste for Arsenal since living here, and I don't know why, because they never really bothered me in the UK. But I did say dream scenario is 2-0 after 10 minutes, then you score 2 late goals. And then City just take the piss in the last 10 minutes. And I did have a smile when Kudos scored that overhead kick, because I went on Twitter and it was the hope. It's West Ham.
And for the Arsenal supporters that I actually like and who are kind people, my heart does does bleed for them, obviously, because they're good people. No one deserves to feel like shit.
It doesn't.
And Ben's right. You know, they took him to the last game of the season, which is grouse. I mean, that's awesome. To take Man City to the last game of the season is fantastic. Might I add, if Kevin De Bruyne was probably playing for the whole season, they probably would have ended 8 games to go. But it's neither here nor there. So anyway, no one remembers that it got to the last game of the season. They finished second and they spent 105 million on a CDM. Okay, cool.
Edgar Davids, there was a CDM that we could all get around. You know what, Faz, though? Like, my thing to Arsenal, not everyone can win a trophy. You know what I mean? Not everyone.
It's very hard. Very hard to win a trophy.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, that FA Cup looks really nice.
North London's my home now. All right, bro.
Oh, dear. Look, I went with... I think this is harsh.
That's a great call.
But I went with Sandra Mcdonald, right? Because I was like, on paper, genius signing. When Newcastle got him, I was like, fuck me, what a player. Like, what a player. And then, like, literally, he just touched down in Newcastle. And there was rumours that this guy had been betting on just about everything, how many pisses during games. And then when he came out, that ban, like, what a backfire. And then for him to be banned again while on the ban, this is a disaster, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It's a brutal scenario for Newcastle. And unfortunately for them, how were they to know? Does this coincide with their downfall for the season? Probably, potentially. He's a great player, but far out. What a story. I wasn't really keeping up to date with it, but it did honestly feel like he was holding the Newcastle shirt. And then I scroll and the next day it was investigated for betting. I'm like, what the hell is going on? That was wild. And now Paquetá is going through it at the moment. And stop gambling, boys. Like, far out. Anyway.
Mate,
good call.
Mate, I mean, I first started asking questions when, if you actually watch that and he's signing the contract, he's got the sports bet app opened on his phone. Maybe questions should have been asked, but I mean, great signing.
Has anyone have on Dead Set have a look at the string of bets he's been investigating? Like, I'm surprised there wasn't he put a bet on which contract he'd sign, which hand he'd sign with. Like, he bet on the most ridiculous things. It was insane.
I did enjoy while he was banned him to have 53 charges while being banned. That was probably my favourite.
I'm pretty sure he put a bet on how long his ban was going to be for.
It's a bad signing. This isn't a bad call from Ben.
Yeah, love him.
Because I actually think Liverpool, like McAllister at the start of the year, everyone was saying was overpriced. Then they raved about him. But a few of the Liverpool players had like great weeks and everyone's forgotten about him.
They had a great start.
This was quite a hard one, overpaid signing, because like Nico Jackson was another who I contemplated, but then his last 3 months was ridiculous. So I was like, takes you a while, but Sandro Tonali, he's played 4 games, gambled the rest. Has to be there.
And I think look, any supporter of every club in every sport, you will always remember the shit signings. You'll always remember him. And it's just, he's folklore now. He's folklore.
Mate, and we finish with Arne Slot. He's one of the confirmed managerial changes, replaces Mr. Jurgen Klopp. What is a successful year next year for Liverpool under Arne Slot? Like, are we saying back up third, fight for the title? Or are we thinking big and saying it's a bit like when Fergie left? It's a bit like when Arsene Wenger left. There's going to be a transition period. Is he going to be afforded that transition period? And are Liverpool willing to wait? Because I think this is as big as Fergie leaving. Klopp built that team.
Yeah.
He is now under pressure because everyone's going to be like top 3.
Yeah, I think that's the point. And in an era now, like, people, and this is a social issue more than anything, people are so not patient. Like they need instant gratification. That's just the way society is now. Liverpool fans will turn very quickly. We know they will. If it's not a success straight away, I think he needs the time. A lot will depend on the window as well. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a few players leave. He'll want to get his own types of players in. What's a successful season look like? Go deep into Champions, get out of the group stage of Champions League or the table stage, whatever they call it. And I think if you can get another top 4 finish, I think that's more than successful. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think you can expect them to be fighting for the title as such, but I don't know. Never doubt a champion team. And I think they are a champion team.
Mate, I'm with you.
Top four finish and go deep in the cups, I think is what he'd be looking for. Yeah.
You see, I think Ben makes a great comment here because I think like people are going to forget. I think this Liverpool side are going to be broken up.
Yeah, it's a great call. And that's why I say like it's hard to make this call until we know what the window looks like. Because Salah might leave, of course. But if they get a Mo Kudus in, for example, like it just depends who they can bring in. So
I think that's the best thing Arnie could do. Like sell Virgil van Dijk, sell Salah, because I think that's what Moisey did wrong.
Yeah.
I think he tried to keep the Fergie United legends and build on top of it. But then he was always compared to Fergie. Oh, Fergie won the title with these boys.
Yeah,
why are we 8th? I think making that statement, Salah out, another big name out, this is going to be Arnie Slot's Liverpool. It's really important because otherwise people see Salah there, people see Virgil there, they assume top 3, top 2 title.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. I think that's a great call. And in these situations, you've kind of got to take emotion out of it a little bit in that regards. We all want to see Mo Salah stay. We all wanted to see Jurgen Klopp stay. I love Jurgen, and that pains me to say because, growing up, Liverpool were a very easy to dislike team. Let's just say, as a teenager. So I loved Jurgen and how he fixed and changed Liverpool. It's remarkable. We all wanted him to stay, but he's gone now. And I think new era, I agree, as long as Salah and Virgil are there, the Liverpool fans are always going to be hanging on to that. And I think you've kind of got to rip the Band-Aid off, just rip it off and say, we're going to nuke the joint and we're going to start with Arnie Slot. Who does he want? And where would Salah go? Saudi Arabia, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, that's got 200 million a day written all over it, hasn't it?
It does.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? No, I agree. I think, you see, in my hindsight, I think it's like top 6. Like, stabilized. Like Man United have got to look and go, we're taking Liverpool's position next year. They're going to be transforming. We've already done that transformation. But I hope they give him time because we've seen with Unai Emery at Arsenal, we've seen with Moisey at United, sometimes people forget a coach who's been there for 10 years has got a blueprint of that team. And I always think people forget. I'm old enough to remember United pre-Fergie. They were shit, right? I remember Arsenal pre-Wenger. They were shit, right? Absolutely dog shit. And I also remember Liverpool before Klopp. And Faz says no one remembers teams who finished second. You actually get a reputation like Liverpool had in the 90s. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah.
And you become a disappointment, which I fear Arsenal have to negate if they keep finishing second. They'll always be remembered as the what-if club. So they've got to understand that Klopp changed it, as did Fergie, as did Wenger, made losers winners. It's not going to happen overnight. I think Arnie Slot is a great manager, like Peter says, but there's no way he can come in with 3 months and replicate Klopp. He's got to do it his own way. And that may take a season.
with getting Arnie, he's a great replacement for Jurgen because Jurgen's biggest strength was his personability. And when he spoke, you kind of, whether it was his teeth or whatever, you kind of got lost in what he was having to say. He had those big white teeth and his glasses, and you're kind of like, oh, Jurgen, and my wife had the hots for him and all that stuff like that. So it was, I listened to Jurgen a lot, sometimes
I've
like
got to say, Jurgen Klopp
put
as a
Jurgen
United
on in the
fan,
bedroom and it's happy days. But what makes Arnie great is he's got that personability. He's very likable. I don't think my wife will be as attracted to him as what she was Jurgen, but he's a very likable character, and I think that is really good because when you remove someone who the fans adored, you got to bring someone in who they can fall for. Again, there was no point them bringing a bloke in who's just going to be real hard to like, hard to get attached to. But Arnie Slot, he is very likable, very likable.
Mate, I agree with you. I mean, look, United fan, full caveat, can't fucking stand Liverpool managers. And I look at Liverpool managers in my lifetime. So you've had Dalglish, Souness, Roy Evans, Houllier, Benitez, Roy was there, wasn't he? Brendan Rodgers. All of them dickheads. I've got to say, Klopp was and he's a German, mind. So he's got a lot going. I've never really hated Jurgen Klopp as a United fan. He's all right.
He's a fascinating character, Jurgen, because he carries on like an absolute pickle. But shit, he's likable. He's just likable. It's very strange. Very strange.
I loved how he started an Arnie Slot chant. The fact that he actually, usually when coaches leave, they make it about himself. How he signed off by giving the fans a chant about him. I was just like, it says everything about him. He doesn't want the legacy remembered forever. He wants the legacy to carry on and hand it over to someone. And I genuinely believe Jurgen Klopp loves Liverpool and he wants what's best for them. And you know what? Have to applaud it, don't you? You have to applaud that.
Nah, and good on him. And we've spoken about it before, but yeah, good move and they'll be all right. And yeah, happy days. And final question from Ben there. Quick one.
Most disappointing team?
For me, Newcastle. To not qualify for Europe, I'd be shocked. I'm shocked how if they start slowly next season, he will not keep his job. So for me, it's Newcastle.
You know what? I think that's a good call. I'd be between Newcastle. You know who else I'd be between as well? This might be a bold call, but I think Brentford.
Yeah, it's a good call.
I think they've been phenomenal, and credit to them. But I just felt with Thomas Frank, they've been in the Premier League a while. I'm waiting for them to jump. Do you know what I mean?
They haven't taken that West Ham jump, that Crystal Palace jump, the Brighton jump. They haven't taken that. They're still fighting relegation where they should be mid-table, fighting for that best of the rest type thing. So
I just every year we always talk, you and me, Faz, about be the best of the rest. And last year it was 9th. Do you know what I mean? The year before it was 13th. The year before was 15th.
Yeah.
I just felt this year 7th. I was expecting, this might sound mental, but I actually expected them this year to be one of them teams that, every year you always have that smoky for the Champions League spot because every side fucking implodes, which has happened this year. Hence why we got Villa. I was expecting, them around that Chelsea position. I thought they would just be on the outside, fighting to the death. And I think they've been incredibly disappointing.
That's a good call. And like I said, for me, it's Newcastle. With the funds they've got, they should be playing Europe every season.
Right. Well, we'll be back next week. We'll be going through the first 4 groups of the Euros, making our bold calls and getting excited. But Faz, thanks very much. Thank you very much, everyone in chat as well. Enjoy the rest of your week and let's watch some football.
Woo. Say is.